So she mostly focus in rainwater harvesting, then for housing and sanitation for the urban poor. We have with us Neha Serawat. She is an assistant professor in MSU Baroda, and she's also an architect, but she's more of an environmental planner with more than 20 years of experience. And we have Debu, uh, who's missing. So anyway, he's supposed to join us, or maybe again, he's also in the organizing team. Okay. So we are given the dialogue on water in development process. We know that water touches in every aspect of our life. It is linked with nearly every sustainable development goal, the SDG 2030. It also drives the economic growth and supports healthy ecosystems. So right now, we are present with the task with each of our background. I work for the watershed management in Manipur. So each of us will give us our own views and what are the policy or is there any law available which is rational, which is positive, and what will be the future of these issues which we have faced with the challenge. So I will start with Sonia. Kindly, if you address the gathering here, but with your background and what is the challenges you face as a.
So, thank you, Sita. It's a pleasure and honor to be here, talk to you, and speak about water in the development process. I do not consider myself at all an expert in any way. I'm an architect, yes, and I'm a professor. I have been teaching at Oxford University now for the last 6 months. Before that, I was at Kolkata. And I have spent my life there, being educated and worked there. And it's just, how I became interested in rainwater harvesting that's the kind of thing that I would like to share with you all. So when we think of water in development process, what strikes us as development? We can be being from different realms, different disciplines, we tend to think of development in different ways. And of course, being an architect for me or for my fraternity, development is looking at the evolution of the types of buildings, how intelligent the buildings are becoming, and how they are making it more and more comfortable and easy for us to live and continue all our lives process. So that's the way I look at it. So being an architect who is trying to be sensitive too, we don't think of only human beings, we think of the entire living world and trying to make it smooth and easy for everybody. So what are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, if you look at development in that process, so the physical development is only a backdrop, it's a receptacle, a vehicle for other developments, such as if we look at social development, let's look at education or healthcare. Well, physical is just holding the whole thing together. Or we look at the entire social part, then we look at economic part. But I began to think that, so what is it that conditions the physical development? And the answer was, coming to me as nothing, or rather, put it positively, which says injection of objectivity and being very, very positive, is that we can only do anything with the right political will and economic return. If we do not have economic return, nobody is going forward with it. Now, can we turn that into something positive? Because the moment we think of development or economic return, it must be at the cost of environment. It must be at the cost of destruction. It is. There's no doubt about it. But can we then look at economic return also in a positive way? That's what really got me thinking into this. And then I thought, okay, we made such wonderful strides if you look at 1947 independence as a watershed time, then on this time we made such a wonderful development. We look at education, right? Literacy, 6 times increase. Higher education, 50 times universities have increased. Healthcare, 32 was our life expectancy in 1947. Now it's 70 plus. We have Amitabh Bachchan telling us, let's live till 80. So we are getting there. We are really moving in terms of development. So we are building cities, we're building all kind of infrastructure for all these good things to happen. And then what happens? Then we see the effects of floods, right? Floods, if you look at the history of floods from 1947, but then from 1947 up until late 20th century, minor incidents, or let's say major incidents, but very few in number. Now, look at the floods. I mean, we talking about Mumbai is a different chapter altogether. All those from Mumbai might want to hit me, but that is it. 2005, wow, it's a benchmark in flooding. So now we say it's a bad flood, but not as bad as 2005. No, so 2005, 2017, 2019, Kashmir flooding in 2014. Wow, whoever thought of that? Srinagar. So obviously, we as architects and planners are doing something very wrong for the development process. So this is the issue that I wanted to bring forward in this panel. Maybe we could talk about
Yeah. So I'll give the mic to Neha now. So no mic, but so Neha will again address like what actually she is facing her line of work.
Hope I'm audible. When we come in the classroom, our voices automatically amplify. So I don't think we need mics. But I will try. I will try. So I come from a background of architecture and environmental planning, but my architectural education towards the end of it left me with a big question mark. I'm from Mumbai. So when I saw those high-rise buildings being constructed, and I, as an architecture student, always wondered, where does the water come from and where does the water go? And I started with that whole quest in my own way, and I realized that you ask anybody where does the water come from, they'll say tap, like you said. Where does the water come? The tap, overhead tank. Where does the water come? The overhead tank from the municipal resources. Where does the water come in the municipal resources? I don't know. I don't care. So that is what got me thinking into pursuing my master's in environmental planning. And where does the water go? In the gutter. Where does the water in the gutter go? I don't know. Probably the oceans or the river or the lakes. At the end of the day, everybody used to say, including the professional fraternity, architects, engineers, hame kya? I don't care. That's not my part of the job. My thinking stops where I design the pipelines and where I construct the pipelines. After that, it's not my problem. So that whole compartmentalized thinking is something that irked me a lot. And I thought that if I do my environmental planning, which is a larger base, then it will help me contextualize the whole design process. So fast forward a few years, and now I'm teaching in urban and regional planning program. And my first question to students is, how do you define or redefine development? And what do you mean by development? Because when you say I'm developing something, it's trying to make it better, but better for whom at the cost of what and whom? So these are larger questions that I'm also dealing with and fighting with right now. Our education system, yes, literacy levels have increased, but are we really getting educated? We are getting degrees, but our knowledge base is shrinking, unfortunately. And we have, we've specialized, we're creating specialists, but with no context at all. That is a bigger, larger burning issue of our society today, because everybody is like, this is not my job, some specialist will come and do it. Now, where is a specialist in water and water hydrology? I'm questioning. So I feel that development in today's context, unfortunately, we equate it to construction, equate it to concretization, we equate it to, building footprints. Whether that is occupied or vacant, nobody cares. As long as we are building something, building buildings, building roads, building infrastructure, we call ourselves developing. But is that really so? Is my question to everybody sitting here. And just last thing I want to end with this is that when we look at water, we don't relate it to land, unfortunately. And every drop of water that falls in the form of rain or snow or whatever form of precipitation has a relationship with land, which we are disconnecting at every point in time. We are over extracting the resources that we have right now, and we are facing a brunt of it. So, be it floods, droughts, waterlogging, uh, contamination of groundwater, fluorides in groundwater, these are irreversible processes. So, my larger quest is, as a planner, how do I ensure that water quantity and quality are made intact so that water flows into our taps? That is my larger purpose.
So these are some of the challenges we are facing as a but again coming from background, I'm the chairperson, but still I'm also a speaker. So I'm representing the Northeastern side, how the scenario is back there. So we have water, but we have drought. So that gives to the management, the poor management in Northeast. So we take it for granted that there's plenty of water, the rainwaters, the rivers, the lakes. So right now we don't feel the grudge, we don't feel the fire burning of how water scarcity is in Rajasthan or Madhya Pradesh or even in this part of the country. We take it for granted that water is available, but we can also see in the hills of Manipur or in the hills in the Northeast that there are so many not getting access to drinking water or even to other in their consumption. So that leads to a poor management. Somewhere the management is poor in the distribution system, or so that makes me as a work as a watershed management. So that's where we try to with an objective that we trap the water first wherever it is coming. So the challenges are still there in the Northeast also, even though we have plenty of lakes. But again, compared to what I saw myself walk the lake in Hussain Sagar today, so we had the privilege to work with Subba Rao. Then he showed us like how the scenario is back here. So I really feel blessed that haven't reached there yet. Development is very poor. Development is very less. But I feel that I'm blessed that I don't see that kind of like that smell and that. So coming to that, I again ask Sonia like what is being done now with the present so in the policy or as a law or as a at your own so some rationale or some solution.
So if you're asking what is being done at the present day to kind of counteract what I just talked about, well, I would say that so just to come to the basic question, what is causing the flood? Right? So you would say, oh, there was heavy rain. No, climate change is getting this heavy spells of rain all the time and we don't know what to do. But of course you do, because it's happening every year. So what do we do with the rain is the bigger question. Now, of course, it's easy to understand when I put in front of students that if you pour water on a sponge or let's say a mass of clothes, and you pour water on a hard surface like this, what happens? It's very, very simple to understand. So if we are transforming all our sponges, right, the ones that actually absorb the water, filter it down, take it to the aquifers, we are building on those. So what has, because you're asking what is being done, I would say that some things are being done in a way that today we are still here, we're talking about it, we're looking for a direction. There are these wonderfully robust, I don't know if I should call it NGO, it's a knowledge organization such as Center for Science and Environment, everybody knows about it. It does very intensive and extensive research on these matters, and it brings out wonderful white papers on these matters, hands it over to governments. So it is happening. It's not like some things are not happening. And then governments are making these rules. If you are doing, say, a large project, which is, when you say large, you mean 150,000 square meters and above, you have to get the environment impact assessment done. That's a start. Now, the thing is that it's large. That means all the projects below that, earlier it used to be 20,000, now it's become 1 lakh. So earlier meaning the earlier rules and regulations. So what happens is that That was the Environment Impact Assessment Plan 2006 and I think 2017. So what happens is that means that many projects are getting outside of all these requirements, because when you are doing impact assessment, it's only when you're doing rainwater harvesting. Then that means you have to follow all. What do you have to follow? Collect rainwater, store it, make proper recharge borewells proper. When I say proper, the water just can't go down to any level. We have to let Mother Earth purify that water. So we have to let go of that layer at a suitable place, suitable level, where it will still purify the water before it reaches the aquifer. Otherwise, we've damaged the aquifer. That is the worst thing we could ever do. So, yes, there are rules that, yes, please do it only if your project is big. But that is not good enough. What happens with smaller projects? Because they are numerous. They are much more in number. Projects, so we are losing out on this. Right? So these little, please being simple down. Let's say floods. When I say floods, there is, I know in Kolkata there is this fuse which says flood forecast and early warning system. Now, is that a good thing? It's a good thing. But it's like you have a disease, because if you're exposing yourself to, let's say, standing in the rain, getting wet, you're going to catch cold. And then you give me a medicine. That's what is happening. So we probably need to go deeper and already attack that.
So there are still hope. So we are still positive, like nothing can go down the drain. It's just like, the leakage, one drop, how it saves how many millions of water. So likewise, we are just watching out for that single hope that might save our humanity or our community or India as such, So coming to again, Neha, again, what will be the immediate thing which is being done?
I see a lot of superficial efforts. I'm not trying to be negative here. I'm just trying to be realistic over here. So, yes, it's good to be optimistic, but it's also good to be realistic to know what is being done and what needs to be done. So the efforts right now, because I'm a planner, I come from a policy perspective and a spatial planning perspective. So yes, we are, like Sir was talking about, Save Ganga since Rajiv Gandhi's times, and we have these new missions being created and funds siphoning down the drain. But if you look at the policies, they're pretty, they're very vague. So river-centric approaches to planning and water-sensitive planning. It does not put anything which is actually real and doable. It's a lot of talk. But yes, it's a good thing that people are using these words now. People are more aware of these words. In the government system and even in academia and the normal public, people are more aware thanks to the calamities and the disasters that are happening. So that is a positive sign. What needs to be done? A ton of work needs to be done. A ton of initiatives need to be taken, need to be supported, need to be implemented. So while we have a lot of policies in place, it's the implementation of these policies that are facing a huge, if I would call it, a break in the system. So, whether it is the High Court judgments, the Supreme Court ruling of 2017, where all sewage treatment plants had to be, modified. So all that is stalled. I think there's also a mindset issue of, again, thanks to our education system of the West, that everything has to be hard engineered. I apologize to all the engineers over here, and architects. But I think we are to blame because we don't listen to the natural system. We don't look at bioengineering as an option. We don't look at geoengineering as an option. We only look at civil engineering or hard engineering as an option. So retaining walls have to be built, tanks have to be built. And then there is no space for the other microorganisms that exist, and they are the real nature's engineers, and we do not take that into consideration. So a more holistic approach needs to be taken, I feel, that considers the ecological aspects of water harvesting, whether it is water harvesting or planning for urban areas, where urban areas should develop and where urban areas should not develop. Let nature take its course. So all those are planning initiatives, whether it is policy or spatial policy, spatial planning initiatives. So there needs to be a whole connection between science, planning, and the governance system together if water has to be saved and conserved for us to benefit in the future.
That's a good point to take home, like from civil engineers to geoscientists or geoengineers. The word geo adds some organic to the the profession. So coming this from two hardcore architects who built, so we are hopeful. We are hopeful, and this is the hope we are looking for. Like coming together. This is one positive thing happening here. We may be small in number, but we have the same, emotion or passion which bind us together. Water, how to save it, how to conserve it, what can be done best, so that this won't, further be polluted. So we are in the right, in a small room with the right people who are in the right time. So it's still hopeful. And right now the floor is open to the participant here, so you can have your emotional outbursts and throw us like, what are your
My uncle were the proponents of real estate policy. The Israel government here in Punjab. But after that, now the new concept has come, thinking of rivers. Nothing but concrete and commercial. When such is the case, is there any mechanism or any way wherein you can bring the concept of global to local, make every citizen to understand that 90% or 85% of their body is filled with water. It is quintessential for them. Save it right from there. Now, when you see these radiations effect going on, as a doctor, I say just have water, expose yourself to sunlight, you have vitamin D and C, you are safe. That there is the matter. Can we have a program, a simplified way, wherein sensitize every individual as much? और बुजुर्ग ने बताया a fear, a sense of fear that the present is in danger, equally their future, the kid and kin of their own, will be in danger until unless it started. There be any program like that or any sort of advisory what you are planning, that state or governments, because linking of rivers is going to make all of us will just get into a big
portion of the winter where there is too cold, but we have not witnessed snowfall till date. Now winter is over, I can say, because November and December and January, this is actually our winter snowfall, but I have not seen snowfall. So what I made 2 years before, a documentary on climate change, threat for future generation, that is showcasing each and everything. You were talking about the scarcity of water, and I am the witness of that. Impact of this particular climate change and what are we people are doing to water bodies, forests, to wetlands, and everywhere. As we are the planners for, we are talking about the smart cities. We are making developments for smart cities. But have we ever seen that this type of climate change is everywhere? We have to see first these things, what is happening to our cities, what is happening to our particularly Kashmir Valley, Himalayan region. Glaciers are melting. So there will be a water crisis, or there so many people are saying, or they are saying that there will be a world water war in future. So we are witnessing it in Kashmir Valley, where there are so many big water bodies, fresh water bodies, which we were drinking those water from those water, but we are now not able to have a simply touch that through my this hand, because it is too polluted. So imagine. So lastly, I can tell you, because you are planners. So we, through this platform, should have one simple answer is there. You people are there. Recommendations to the government that we have to think what is left. For example, if water body is there, okay, around 80% of water body is polluted, no issue, but 20% is still there. Or if 40% water body has gone to encroachment and this and that, but still 80% or 20% is there. So we have to burn and save these water bodies and start these like the smart city projects and others. We have, as a thinkers, we as engineers, we as students, it's our responsibility, because I can tell you honestly, if we people through social media or through these type of conferences took these things to the government, I appreciate that government will take up this step. Because I have seen so many things which I have showcased through my document with the audio visual. Government is working on those. In Kashmir Valley, I will give you just two examples and then I will switch one. That is the one wetland is there, which was a wetland, a screen of wetlands, you can understand. 9 to 10 lakh water migratory birds were coming to that particular wetland. And now because of the bad policy, flood channel, 60 feet deep channel, that total wetland was as a barren land and that was a desert-like situation. So I showcased that, I videographed that particular water body, which is the PN of wetland, is Ramsar site. Nobody was witnessing that. No government was knowing about that particular wetland. Then I visualized that and took that to the government. And now from last 2 years, government is working on that particular wetland. And recently, before 1 week, I visited that particular wetland. Work is going on during this cyclone as well. And when I took the digital administration to that particular wetland, that is the beauty. They are now working on it and they gave them instead of 20 months, they gave for 12 months only. 12 months only. So we are responsible. If people will look up as engineers, as students, as doctors, government will also do that. So we are responsible for all. So we have to do it. We have to act before we do it too late.
So, ladies and gentlemen, he is Abdul Rasid from Kashmir. He is as passionate as
Okay, this is Ajit Seshadri here. Actually, I am speaking on behalf of Nimal Raghavan. Nimal Anna is with an NGO for the last 5 years, and he has been pursuing MTech. He finished his MTech and then he finished his research also, and he's been a very, very passionate working with a lot of communities in and around Tuticorin, Ramnad, and many other areas. He has nearly cleaned up so many lakes, ponds, and streams, and he is associated with a lot of Gram Panchayats and involving them also, involving schools, colleges, and a lot of agricultural fields have also gained with all the water which has been received. And these all these ponds and lakes had been very, very close to sea, and a lot of water used to get wasted during rain to the sea.
Sir? Kindly give the state.
This is Nimal Raghavan in Dhanishkodi and Tuticorin district. He is supposed to have spoken, but he has not come because he's unwell, and is unwell because of a lot of working for water, and every day or every second day he is in a pond or in a lake or in a stream, and he's got all these things marked out in GPS coordinates, and he has got a formula. Whenever he does a pond, he makes sure it is properly dredged out, and certain streams are desilted, and he organizes road lanes also around the ponds, around the streams, so that JCBs and others can go with the manual labor. And he encourages all the sludge matter which comes out goes to composting, and they go for agricultural land. So that is also not wasted. So in actual fact, his PhD research is ongoing. He has already finished his PhD also, and it's a very valuable document to study also.
I think there are only 2 points. My introduction is I'm a alumni of IIT Madras, MTech in Hydraulics and Water Resources. Presently, I'm a member of IIT Madras Alumni Societal Impact Action Group with some of the eminent members. I've been also an executive director with Indian Oil, been doing practical rainwater harvesting for more than 22 years. My theme is simple. Soil is a living being. Recently, I've said an article, soil is a living being. Without providing water to the soil, soil dies. If soil dies, everything dies. It's only a question of time. So it is propagating simple, practical rainwater harvesting at every plot. 2 concepts I have written to the government in Chennai also, to the commissioner. Rain harvesting stormwater drains. That means, in Chennai is a flat city. Even if I want to throw all the water to Bay Bengal, I will not succeed. Whereas by putting a costly drain, I'll kill the soil and kill all the generations put together. That means within the stormwater drain itself, we have graded gravel pits. As one of the eminent speakers responded, it feeds the soil with requisite amount of moisture, filters also in a distributed manner. Rain harvesting stormwater drains. Similarly, use of graded gravel pits at every plot. What we have been propagating is in every city, rainwater harvesting does not need space. In one of the buildings, we have sent the water to the ground below the car park with graded gravel pits and the use of wells. So what I'm concentrating is building the public opinion and making every case story. For every case I've done, I got a presentation. So soil is a living being, soil needs water. Distributed rainwater harvesting. We should not depend on others. It should be a mass movement. And rain harvesting stormwater drains for the cities. And every plot, every building should be a water positive model. That means every industry, there should be a water positive model. Taking it to the top people, and very simple. Even aquifer. Many people think I have to do deep harvesting. No, not required. All aquifers are connected. We recharge the shallow aquifers, automatically water find its own way. I think these are the points. I can interact. I can share my own newspaper in cuttings, and my articles appear in Indian Oil Prakriti.
Okay.
I can share that. I hope I'm not taken more of your time.
Kindly share it. Yeah, we got your point.
I can share it with Dr.
Please.
Dr. Yeah.
Please
I'll
put it in the chat box, sir. Sir, if you can put it in the chat box, we can circulate it to everyone. Huh?
What I'll do, I'll put my entire link in the chat box.
Yes, sir.
I'll copy
Would be
it and
helpful for us. That
I'll
would be
copy
helpful.
it. I'll copy it.
Right, sir. Thank you very much.
I'll do it right. I'll do it right away. Thank you.
Over to you, Sunita.
So I think we can take a break now. So that doesn't mean that the conversation stops. So with the plate, the thali, then we'll continue and we'll continue to take the recommendation even with the curry. Okay.
So when the thali is empty, the conversation is also empty.